yes, let's see what happens. This already looks like a pumpkin, actually. This is kind of a fun pumpkin. It's just this big lumpy pumpkin. I'm kind of liking it. I'm gonna play with this. I think I'm gonna let this just be natural and see what happens. It's just a big wad of something. You're not really looking like a pumpkin, are you? This is the stuff I've soaked in water, so I'm kind of getting it back. You kind of have to work it back into some kind of usable condition. I've left a little water in the bottom so I can kind of squish it. It's so nasty. Just so we're clear, I spent hours doing this, not seconds like this video is showing. But I took some styrofoam and I covered it with a air dry clay. Yes, I did have some cracking issues, especially the wetter the clay was. And I don't know if I would ever do this again because of all the little patches I had to go back and repair. But I do think the clay looked amazing. Obviously, it would have done a lot better had I just done clay on clay, but that would have been a very, very heavy little pumpkin. And the styrofoam did keep it a little lighter. My original idea was to use paper mache, but I just kind of came across that clay in my studio and I went, you know what, I should try this and just to see how it looked. It looks great, but boy, talk about the hot mess. So I started with styrofoam shaped like a pumpkin and then covered that. And I believe that was a little bit too thin. Therefore, I got some cracks on it because of just really nothing to work with because I had not put it down thick enough. But the styrofoam had already given me the shape that I needed. So that was a lot of fun. Next year I will do something similar, but that time I will use the paper mache, which is a product that I have purchased before, where you can you add water and it's got like maybe a plaster in it. I really don't know what the ingredients are, but it does make for a really cool product to work with. And I've done a lot of stuff with that paper mache. But yeah, I did love how the clay is working because I'm getting a lot of details on there that are just really look cool. And this is something I did not plan. I just started playing with. Isn't that the best kind of arts and crafts to do where you have no plan? I did end up making 3 of these, and how it worked, the beginning clay that I worked with was really still kind of dry. I've been soaking it, so it was still a little bit on the dry side. The second pumpkin, it had a little more time to soak, so it was a little bit easier to work with. And then as I moved on into the last one, it had gotten way too saturated, so it'll be interesting watching that. So I'm using a lot of different carving tools to create this space, and I just love that the space came together, and why I decided to do it on the carved part on the end where the stem was. I don't know where these things come from. I just start doing things and then they become things. I don't know. It's kind of scary in a way. Happy Halloween. So my tools, I have a lot of just carving tools anyway. I think it's always a great idea to invest in some fun carving tools. The tool I'm actually using every now and then you'll see with a nice big wooden handle is from my days of doing intaglio, where you did plates, metal plates, and that was a tool used to smooth out rough edges like the burrs on the edges of the metal plating, and you had some points so you can kind of make softer etching in it. And I was just, why? I still have all this stuff, so there it is. Now I'm working with really, really wet clay, and it is hard to work with because it is so saturated. In fact, after working with it for a while, I finally just had to set it down and let it dry because the more I tried to smooth it out, the worse it got. Anyway, yeah, nice big muddy mess. Like, how people will go spend good money to get a nice clay wrap or whatever. Yeah, I'm covered with it now. So I'm talking the whole time with my mouth, as you can see in the video. I'm sorry that I didn't always have it where you could see it, but I kind of move around a lot. So I'm actually explaining what I'm doing, and this video would have been, about 2 hours long. So I did have to let this one rest a little bit and wash my hands and kind of clean it up so I could do some more work on it. But you see, I did kind of design his little face while I still had a muddy mess. And now I'm coming back in using whatever tool I grabbed this time to cut in his little ridges, and then doing some more work. Yeah, it definitely helped cleaning up my hands for sure and letting it dry a minute because it was way too wet. So I had I'm just cannot tell you how much fun this was. I always have something going on in the background, to kind of keep me entertained. Now that I'm not talking, so I'm listening to something, I believe. I think I'm watching videos actually of other wonderful people. I do encourage you to try something like this. If not a pumpkin, just some kind of fruit or something. Well, a doll head for as far as that goes. But try this air dry clay and see how you like it. Just be prepared for some cracking. You want it at perfect consistency. And another trick you can do is spritz it with water and let it dry slowly. Actually, the cracking was easy to patch. It's very good about reabsorbing into itself and mending itself. So I'm doing a little bit more touch up, showing you some serious close-ups right now on what I'm working on. And yeah, that's a good angle. And probably still talking about it apparently, because I keep talking to myself. This one was the worst of the cracked ones, as you can see, because it was so wet to begin with, where the other ones had some fine lines, mostly where it was thin. So you can see a couple of little cracks that formed on the first one I did. So then I got it all patched up and painted. And I'm trying a few techniques. Got to have those yellow eyes. And right now I'm trying some charcoal. Not sure I'm loving that much contrast. But I did manage to work it all out. And look at them on display with Evanora, my lovely little witch made out of a Monster High doll. So I did set up a cute little display. Now the one that I did first, who had the weird little face, oh, by the way, that's Prue. And I left the eyes brown because the lights are not on in this one, and it's more rotten, and I think it works so much better with the eyes being brown and dark. And I love my little trio of pumpkins. They're definitely one of a kind. Thanks for watching, and please, if you like this video, hit like and subscribe if you haven't. And hey, hit that notification button, because I go live on Tuesdays at 2 and Thursdays at 6:30 Central Standard Time. And hey, sometimes I make really good videos. Bye!